Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to today's episode of Morning Wealth. Three things that you can look to here. Fed, the buyer is back. Importance of small businesses in the US. What to expect from BOJ. And more importantly, the retail sales that's coming out from the US. The central bank spurred the turnaround with the announcement that it will begin buying individual corporate bonds under its secondary market corporate credit facility. To date, the emergency lending program has purchased only ETFs. The Fed also added a twist to its buying strategy, saying that it will follow a diversified market index of US corporate bonds created expressly for this facility. The Fed built the index internally, and a spokesman couldn't say whether its details would be made public. Fed's announcement propelled the stocks higher, though risk-on sentiment cooled somewhat towards the close. The S&P rose 0.8%, erasing a loss of as much as 2.5%, while the Dow added more than 150 points. Treasuries also reversed course and fell, the 10-year yields climbing above 0.72. The dollar declined against every G10 currency. The Aussie was the biggest gainer. Oil advanced and gold dropped back. Asian equity futures are pointing to the green. Remaining with the Fed's Main Street lending program is finally up and running. The central bank launched its facility for small and medium-sized businesses and encouraged lenders to start making loans immediately. The Boston Fed, which will be the administrator of this program, said that it will begin purchasing about 95% of loans, quote-unquote, soon. Staying with the small businesses theme, the latest monetary policy report submitted to the US Congress ahead of the testimony this week from Chair Powell makes an important point about small businesses, which really represent about half of the US private sector jobs. The pandemic poses acute risks to the survival of many small businesses. Their widespread failure would adversely alter the economic landscape of local communities and potentially slow the economic recovery and future labor productivity growth. So in his testimony today, I think he'll reiterate the importance of the Main Street lending program. Moving on to equities. Another day, another investment in geo platforms. Saudi Arabia's wealth fund is prepared to buy about 2.33% stake for about 1.5 billion. So after the deal, geo platforms would have diluted about 25% of its equity. Fortnite developer Epic Games is close to raising about 750 million round for a funding with a valuation about 17 billion. Jaguar Land Rover's Chinese sales gained 4.2% last month from a year earlier, even after months of lockdowns. This was interesting. The car maker is also seeing improvements in the US and Europe, though UK has been slow to recover. Still, JLR lost about 500 million pounds before tax in the 3 months ended March 31st and will cut about 1,100 contract workers to keep the costs down. United Airlines sees steady demand improvement in the US and some international markets as cancellations decreased by about 70% since April's peak rates. On the fixed income side, United Airlines is planning to raise about 5 billion by borrowing against its customer loyalty program. Germany will seek to borrow an additional 62.5 billion euros to pay for its stimulus program. That will bring the new debt this year to about 218 billion euros and raise the debt to GDP to about 77%, which from German standards is very, very high. On the Forex side, Fed has become the world's ultimate buyer, and while demand is good for equities and treasuries, it drove the US lower across the board. Today, we look forward to BOJ and US retail sales. US retail sales will be far more important than the BOJ meeting, where the central bank is widely expected to leave rates unchanged. US data continues to improve with a much stronger than expected Empire State Manufacturing Index coming through. Economists were looking for an improvement to negative 29.6 from a negative 48.5, but instead of contracting, the data shows that the sector stagnated in the month of June, with the index rising to about minus 0.2. Investors will be eager to see if this strength and recovery carries forward to retail sales, which are scheduled for release today. This is the most important piece of US data on the calendar, and spending is expected to rebound to 8% after falling 16.4% the previous month. So that's what we will look forward to today. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe and healthy.